Hey guys! Hey guys! Welcome back to my ketogenic modified Atkins diet channel. So we're going to continue where we left off, guys. I know it's going to be kind of like a replica, like I've said a million times. And like I said again, like, comment, and subscribe if you like my videos. And right now the talking is it's just me talking right now, and trust me, it's really boring. But I can assure you guys, my videos are going to hopefully get a lot more interesting to a certain extent, you would say, because like I said, right now I'm trying to finish this all up in the previous video I mentioned. So, like always, like, comment, and subscribe, and let's get into it. Woo! So we're going to continue where we left off. I don't know exactly where, but let's continue. We might go back a little bit from what I spoke about yesterday, so we're going to just continue with that page. The fact is that fat found in food does not influence the cholesterol reserves of your body. In fact, roughly only a third of cholesterol from food becomes part of circulating cholesterol that can potentially build up in heart vessels. Simply put, fat is not the culprit. Moreover, the obsession with fat and cholesterol has a counter-initiative effect. Typically, when we cut down on fat, we replace it with carbohydrates. The problem is that carbs get processed differently. They are broken down as sugars and are stored in different forms of fat, which may actually do more harm to the heart than cholesterol coming from an animal products like red meat and dairy. Thankfully, many researchers have rebelled against the saturated fat and cholesterol theory when they've seen is that 60% of all reported heart attacks occur in people with normal cholesterol levels. Additionally, the majority of individuals with high cholesterol levels never have heart attacks. This debunks everything we've been told about fat leading to high cholesterol, leading to heart disease. That is simply not correlation. What is interesting to know is that American Heart Association does not recognize high cholesterol levels as a common determinant of heart disease. All in all, it is becoming clear that reducing total fat consumption is not the key to weight loss and prevention against obesity, and far from being bad fats, play an important role in our body's daily functioning. For giving us energy, we need to the feeling of satisfy after meals. Essentially, fatty acids also serve as brain food, which means depriving yourself of fat can not only lead to difficulty in concentration, memory, retention, and focus, but also numerous of health, psychiatric, and social problems. Fats are also needed to absorb fat sublude vitamins such as A, D, E, and K, some of which can help us lose weight. Unfortunately, we consume too few of healthy fats and too many of the unhealthy man-made versions. Saturated fats. Most people can easily identify saturated fats. They are typically solid at room temperature and includes animal-based fats such as schmaltz, like I've said, chicken fat, dairy-based fats such as butter, and coconut-based fats such as coconut oil. The consumption of saturated fats have been frowned upon for decades, but their health benefits are plenty. Aside from improving cholesterol levels, they play a crucial role in the cardiovascular health. The addition of saturated fat to our diet is proven to reduce the levels of lipoprotein, which correlates strongly with the risk of heart disease. Saturated fats found in butter and coconut oil play key roles in immune health, whilst insufficient saturated fatty acids in white blood cells hampers their ability to recognize and destroy viruses, bacteria, and fungi. Unsaturated fats. Controversially, unsaturated fats are the fats that are liquid at room temperature and typically vegetable based. There are two kinds of unsaturated fats: monosaturated and polyunsaturated. Monosaturated fats include olive oil, nuts, oils, avocado oil with plum unsaturated fats include canola oil and fish oil. Trans fats are created when unsaturated fats gets into saturated fat by adding hydrogens. It is process used to make vegetable oil solid at room temperature, namely margarine. The consumption of trans fat increases the risk of coronary heart disease by raising levels of LDL, bad cholesterol, and lowering levels of HDL, good cholesterol, to make sure stay away from them. Importance of fat. Despite all the misconceptions surrounding fat, it is an integral part of a healthy diet and is actually the cornerstone of a ketogenic diet. Here is a quick explanation on why fat is important to trigger ketos. Fats come in forms of triglycerides in our diet and are stored as triglycerides as well. Triglycerides are molecules and consist of glycerol backbone connected to 3 fatty acids. The liver uses the glycerol backbone to create glucose during glucogenesis, but remainder of the fat molecule is nearly all ketogenic. For this reason, fat should compare the majority of health diet, representing around 60% of total calorie intake. And the treatment of obesity, achieving the state of ketosis is crucial as it facilitates fat loss through a reduction in insulin levels. When you reduce your carbohydrate consumption and moderate your protein intake, you need a replacement for these carbohydrates and protein. What is left from the equation is dietary fat. Therefore, the trick is to make roughly 60 to 80% of your diet consist of fat, depending on your ultimate goal, and make sure they are the good kind. The simple way to go about this is check that your fat intake comes from a variety of animal sources such as red meat, poultry, fish, and dairy. Think of eating fat as a way to fuel your metabolic engine, turning your body from a sugar burner to a fat burner. The only way to make this transition is to change your diet to one that is primarily based on dietary fat. By adapting to a fast-based diet and using ketones as a primary source of fuel, you'll reach your desired weight more easily and more likely to maintain it. Fats to eat and fats to avoid. The ketogenic diet requires a large consumption of fat, but only the right kinds of fat. It should be clear to you by now, there are fats to eat plentiful and fats to completely avoid. Knowing the difference between these is a key to make sure that you activate the production of ketones in your body. Fats to eat more of. Saturated fats such as butter, ghee, coconut oil, palm oil are all very healthy to cook with. Ghee is a good replacement for butter if you're lactose intolerant or have dairy allergies. Otherwise, there is no harm in using butter for cooking. If you want to go vegan or par of options, coconut oil is great for use in low or medium heat cooking. While palm oil is mostly recommended for higher heat cooking, more good news is that oils won't turn rancid as easily as other oils because they have longer shelf life. Plus, they have a thermogenic effect, which means they rise the body temperature, boost energy and metabolic rate, therefore prompting weight loss. They do not contain any cholesterol, They do not contain cholesterol and do not have any shown rise of LDL levels. Essentially, fatty acids, EFAS, are basically omega-6 fats and omega-3 fats, which is mostly found in animal sources. Modern diets have typically more omega-6 fats than omega-3 fats. Keeping a good balance between both is highly recommended. Omega-6 fats are found in many oils such as sunflower, while omega-3 fats are primarily found in fish, seafood, grass-fed meat, and dairy as well as flax, hemp, chia seeds, and walnuts. The more you eat of these fats, the more optimal your health will be. Fats to limit and avoid. While they are not completely bad for you, polyunsaturated oils such as corn, soy, sunflower oil should be limited or avoided if possible. These types of fat have more than one double bond, which makes them more vulnerable to oxidation. Why is oxidation a problem? It can cause widespread free radical damage, which implicate in heart disease and cancer. If you're currently using these types of oils oil for cooking, it's best to replace them with avocado or ghee. Canola oil is a monosaturated fat, as is olive oil, which means it contains only one double bound. Technically, it could be used for salad dressing, cold foods, and low temperature cooking. However, the problem is that most canola oil is made from GMO canola. This makes it a health risk for you. Baked and fried goods such as crackers, cakes, muffins, donuts have a high chance of containing trans fat. That's because they are most likely made with margarine, which is a replacement for butter. Margarine is made from different oils mixed with emulsifiers, vitamins, coloring, flavoring, and other ingredients. Cottonseed oil that appears in many most kosher for Passover products isn't even characterized as a food. It is filled with deadly chemical poisons. Don't feed it to your family. Use extra virgin olive oil instead. Good fats are more structurally read to convert to ketones. For example, short and medium chain fats such as those found in butter, ghee, and coconut oil will readily convert your ketones. You know the truth about fat. Now what? Isn't it unbelievable how most of the eating habits we pick are not scientifically sound? Most of my relatives struggle with their weight. There were serial yo-yo dieters and their doctors told them to eat low fat all the time. None of them were really able to keep the weight off. Many of us develop such a big fear for fat without even knowing why. The good news is it's never too late to think differently and learn new eating habits. When you cut the fat in your diet, it's replaced by carbohydrate, which is more damaging to your health than fat will ever be. Saturated fats such as butter, canola, coconut oil, and red meat and even monosaturated fats like those found in avocados, olive oil, and macadamia nuts are good for you. Contrary to what you've been told to believe all your life, they do not cause any harm when you eat until you feel full. In fact, they even do your body good when you eat them. They are anti-inflammatory. They raise good cholesterol. They do not raise your blood sugar. Plus, they help you create ketones. If there's only one thing you remember from the chapter, is make sure this. Fat is not the enemy in your diet, it is your friend. It helps you feel fuller for longer periods of a time and is exactly what you need in order to burn fat. It may be contradictory to say that in order to burn fat, you must eat fat, but it's perfectly aligned with how our bodies and hormones function. Eating plenty of fat with a low-carb, moderate protein diet is key to preventing you from being hungry. By having the full feeling, you are more able to moderate your food consumption and only eat when you're hungry. Furthermore, insufficient fat intake prevents you from achieving your ketogenic state, which means that you will never achieve your fat burning mode. Such indulge in fat, lodge in good fats, get slim. It's time to put all our fears against fat aside and try a high fat diet. Apart from helping you with weight loss, it prevents you from the onset of chronic diseases such as diabetes, Alzheimer's disease, and cancer. Reducing your carbs consumption and getting enough protein are very important in building healthy eating habits. By eating the right amount of fat in right quantities is key to make ketones happen and is what will keep you off the fat, will help you keep the fat off. Again, it may go against everything you believe about healthy nutrition, but science is on the side of ketogenic diet. So go enjoy the fat on your medium rare steak or the olive oil used to saute your vegetables. Remember, Bubby was right. Okay, guys, this is it for today. We will continue with chapter 4 in the next video. I'm out. Peace. Like, comment, and subscribe while you're at it.